My name is Joey Reyes with Signature Premier Properties with the Padro Team.
I'm Cristian Velasquez with the Own It team at Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, and I'm a mortgage loan originator.
How long have we known each other already?
I think now, like 2 years?
Yeah.
It's been 2 years. It's gonna be.
Time flies, right?
We're gonna hit our anniversary soon.
You better get me something good this year.
Yeah, I got you some flowers or something, whatever you want. Vacation.
Right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Cool,
So,
cool.
I mean,
For legal purposes, I'm just kidding.
I want to know how long have you been a loan officer?
Now, coming up in May, it's actually going to be 5 years, which is pretty damn crazy to say. I got my start in 2021, right around Cinco de Mayo.
Nice. That was a perfect time.
Not great timing. I remember my second day at the office being a rough one because Cinco de Mayo was on a Monday, I think.
So you just had to drink it
Or
up?
Tuesday, yeah. I got celebrated a little too hard, and then I showed up to the office, but I made it.
Okay, that's good. That's good, man.
Yeah.
And like now you've been in like a few teams throughout your career, or like?
Yeah, I've been at 2 different companies. I started with Advisors Mortgage Group.
Okay.
It was a great company. We did a lot of reverse mortgages over there, and I basically got the job through my sister. So I had graduated college. I went like a year where I was still coaching soccer, which is where I thought my career path was going to end up taking me.
Mm-hmm.
And I decided I needed a change. I think with everything that was going on with COVID, it was just my job kind of slowed down. The job security wasn't there as much because of a job that needed to be in person. And I think I was just ready for a new challenge.
That's good.
Yeah.
Change is good sometimes.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
Actually, I think it's good all the time. Because if it's worth changing, you do it, and you end up saying like, I should have changed it a lot sooner, right?
Yeah. I mean, change is definitely not easy. You do it when you know it's gonna make you or your situation better. So it's all part of it, right? But yeah, I was just ready for a change, and I started looking at jobs that were like finance related. And then I remember my sister one day, she sent me a screenshot.
Mm-hmm.
It was of some girl she went to high school with, and the girl was like, "Hey, we're hiring at our company. You can make like, I don't know, $60,000 to $80,000 a year." And in my head, I was like, "Yo, that's a crazy amount of money. Like, of course I want to make that amount." So
and then you went for it.
I followed up. I went for the interview. I went to the wrong door for the interview.
Wow.
And I was like, oh crap, I was late now at that point because it had been like, I showed up like 10 minutes early. I kept trying to go through that door and just couldn't get through. I'll never forget. And then they emailed me back. They're like, yeah, it's the back door. And I realized I was looking at the wrong sign.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got it.
Yeah, at least I did get it. I showed up to the interview, and my manager, like, a few weeks after he hired me, he's like, yeah, you almost didn't pass the idiot test.
That's crazy.
But nah, I had a good interview. I started off as a reverse mortgage processor.
Okay.
And then as some time went on, my manager realized I was pretty good at sales as far as like being on the phone, connecting with people. So I got my license, and then I started doing actual reverse mortgage sales.
So how's your experience been so far with the Own It team?
Good. It's been honestly life-changing. Just to kind of fast forward in my story that I was telling you about a little bit, after maybe 2 years working at Advisors Mortgage Group, I decided it was time for a change. Mm-hmm. So that's when I was introduced to the Own It team through Susie.
Nice.
So yeah, Susie, I met her at a
Susie's
networking
great.
event. Oh, amazing. So I met her at a networking event. We did like 2 interviews together. By the second one, I was like, yeah, this is the person I got to be working for. And she had brought her team, or the managers like James, Nunzio, Rob Morandi, all to that interview. They told me, I got your back, and they delivered this whole time. As I've progressed, they've always had my back, always given me support, and that's why I've closed the amount of loans I have last year and this year so far.
Awesome. So like, if somebody was thinking about being a loan officer like you, would you recommend your team then? Would you recommend being a loan officer?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that someone actually asked me that question the other day. And I think you just need to make sure you're somewhere where they want to teach you. Because if you're going to go and work somewhere as a loan officer and they're not giving you any support, they're not teaching you guidelines, how to get loans closed, how to find new business, you're gonna fail.
Okay.
You know.
So what would be the number one advice that you give them if someone asked you right now, hey, like, I want to be a loan officer, I'm not really sure, I want to make more money, but I'm not sure. What would you tell them?
Yeah. Look make sure you ask questions when you go and work at the place you're going to work at, right?
Okay.
Ask them maybe how much production they're doing. Ask them what are they going to do to help me learn as a new loan officer. Are they going to help me get leads? Are they going to teach me how to get leads at least? So you need to be asking those kinds of things because you want to make sure you're well supported.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. And you?
Well, I've been a real estate agent now for 3 years. I actually kind of just like landed in my lap as well. It happened like sometime like COVID time where I thought I was going to be an electrician all my life. It was my dream to be in Local 3 in the union, and I was there, and then just like something kind of just like clicked for me when I got laid off for the very first time in my life. I didn't know how to handle it. I had a friend of mine, Andres. He was like, "Oh, yo, come over. I'm not doing nothing. I want you to see something what I'm working on." And I was like, okay, I have nothing else to do. No one can go out, so like let me go over. I went over, and they were looking into like wholesaling, like real estate, and I found it very interesting. And the thing is that like after like being with him like a few days, I realized that it wasn't no longer what I wanted to do. I realized that I wanted something more in my life, and maybe this was the opportunity to finally do it. I'd go to work, and it wasn't the same for me. I know I'd get a check, and I was a little scared to leave because of the security and the good benefits and all.
Yeah.
Because even people today tell me like, "Oh my God, you're crazy. Why'd you leave that?" But this is like, it wasn't no longer fulfilling, and that's what was more important to me than just like, all right, I made a paycheck and I got benefits. So when I became a real estate agent, yeah, like at first, you're right. The mentorship and asking questions is very important because you think that like you watched like the Selling Sunset.
I have not watched that.
Okay, like
I'm against real estate shows.
Like they make it seem like, oh, okay, like you just knocked on somebody's door.
For that
you
reason.
made a call, like, hey, you make $3 million. It's not really like that. You really got to put in the work, depending on where you are. I mean, fortunately, we have like a good market like Long Island, that's very strong, even in like when other people are kind of like not doing as well. But the mentorship has kept me and pushed me through the time. I've been through 3 different brokerages so far. Right now I'm being in Signature. Is so far the best brokerage I've been in. Nothing bad about the people I've worked with before, but I just feel like I have more mentorship here. I have more support. I have Jose Padro, who's my team lead.
Good boy.
Yeah. Anytime I need him, he's there for me. And if he doesn't pick up, like he calls back, at least. And
it's important.
I never like felt like, oh, what the hell am I doing? Like, even to today, like I'm still learning things. But, thankfully, we've had some great years.
Yeah. And you think this year has been one of your best years so far, or?
I think that it's not the best.
Okay.
Because next year is going to be my best.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm taking a whole different pivot into my business, and I think that's what it's all about. Like, you live and you learn, you're working on things. If it's not working, you pivot, and that's what makes it interesting.
What sort of things do you think have changed over from your first year in real estate every year?
The mindset of no one's going to be there to save you. This is a business where, it's very like all dependent on you, and as soon as you realize that you can't blame nothing, you can't blame the market, you can't blame nobody but yourself, you realize that like you have like all the control of how much money you actually want to make. It's all up to you. And I didn't realize that before, because sometimes I'd like depend on the people that already know me. I didn't really know what I was doing. I'd give people calls. I probably fumbled a few deals that I should have had. So I learned that with the time.
That happens, right? That's all part of the journey that you're going to go through. Yeah, 100%. 100%. What made you want to change from one place to the next, and like
I said, my very first brokerage, like I'm not talking bad about nobody, but
for your own reasons, right?
Yeah, just for my own reason, where like with the company, the split wasn't very well, and I feel like for that the support wasn't as well either. So then I decided to make a move, because especially in the beginning, you don't really know what's good and bad. I didn't have no one like guiding me, so I just felt like worst case scenario, like I'd go back.
Yeah, you only know that brokerage and what they offer.
Exactly.
And sometimes you think that's all that is available to you.
Exactly. So as soon as I moved to the second one, like I realized, okay, like I learned something here, I learned something over there, but this is still not the place. And when I realized that, and I found Jose, I found him accidentally in an open house. I just happened to be taking pictures for my previous company. He saw me in an open house, told me like, hey, like you're dressed really nice. Like if you're looking for another place, like give me a call. Yeah. So I gave him a call. It was crazy because it was like 6 months later. And then we had a meeting. It went well, and I was like, okay, this guy seems like he's really like for his team. And yeah, he's been like that for the past 2 years with me. So
good.
It's great.
Yeah, he's gotten you through all the different transactions that have taken place. You know, he's
good ones, bad ones.
The good ones, the bad ones, and we've had a mix of those. So then, for those of you who don't know, Joey works for Jose Padro. I work for Susie Padro. They're not siblings. They are married. So through that was basically how we met, right? I actually do remember meeting you at, I think it was like one of the it was the first team meeting that I'm pretty sure I did, right?
Yeah, on Monday.
Maybe I sound like I don't remember it, but no, I remember meeting you at that.
It was definitely something like that. We just hit it off kind of like pretty quickly.
Yeah, we just talked a little bit. We said we were going to do some business, you know, the year after, and we said that we were going to work together, and then eventually, you know, those things started to happen, right? So let's talk about the first deal.
The first deals. I mean,
who did it come from?
How did it come here?
Yeah. How'd you get that first deal?
So the first deal that came with you was it was actually a friend of mine, right? He lives in Long Island now, so he was not very sure that he wanted a house, if he can afford in a house. He was stuck. Like it was pretty much like, you know, following up with him for like a whole year until finally he decided he was ready and wanted to get something for his family. But till today, I saw him just the other day. He's very happy of the way, like, you know, we serviced him, because everything was pretty quickly. Everything was he was well educated. He was coachable.
Yeah. He was quick to get documents over.
Exactly. not everybody does that, but yeah. Like it's not always as perfect as that, but it was a pretty good deal. And from that deal, I know that like, yo, Chris is my guy.
Yeah. How did well? First off, I appreciate you bringing that over and saying those words. But let's go back to you getting him to finally start the pre-approval process, right?
Okay.
You said you had that first conversation with him.
Okay.
What was that first conversation?
The first conversation was through social media. He was pretty much saying like, hey, what would it look like for me to like actually get a house? Like, how much do I have to put down? So it was just through like posts that I was posting on social media, and he just followed up with me in a way. And then through the time, I was just educating him, and then that's when he finally told me he was ready to like see what it was about, where we all connected.
How much were you following up with him?
I want to say
up until the day he was like, yes, let's get pre-approved.
I want to say at least once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah, once a month. Whether it was like saying happy birthday, hey, like these are the interest rates today, like anything that is valuable that I can give him, I told him.
Yeah, that's important. And sometimes it's not always that follow-up is not always just, like you said, it's not just here's the interest rates, here's the process. A quick little happy birthday can make a big difference, right?
Yeah.
That shows you're thinking about them.
That's funny because like, look, Jose teaches us to do that. So recently, for Thanksgiving, I know that there was this guy that wants to sell in Lindenhurst, and I send him over a text saying, hey, happy Thanksgiving, hope everything is well. That's it. Nothing crazy, nothing pushing him. And he actually reached out saying, hey, Joey, I think I want to sell. Can you come over?
Oh, shit.
You know, it's just being top of mind.
Yeah.
So that's what I care about the most. You know, when they do think about that, they think about us, they think about me, because I like, even if it's not me, I like to be at least the first one to like get in the door and see if I can position myself to be the best advisor for them. Yeah,
absolutely. I think as far as being top of mind goes, it's just you're being top of mind by reaching out to him every week, every month.
Yeah.
Right. So that's
every week would be crazy.
Every week, yeah. But you know, sometimes you have to do that too. If they're hot,
it kind of depends,
and you know they're going to want to buy soon or sell soon, you might as well reach out. You might have to reach out once a day.
Exactly.
You know, it's
Or multiple times
every
a day.
client's going to be a little bit different, right?
Every client is different. That's
Cool.
another thing.
Cool.
Keeps it interesting.
Yeah. So we got that client approved, right? And what I would say as far as the pre-approval process goes, it was relatively easy. You know, the client had consistent work history. He was at the same job for, I think, well over 2 years. The only difference was that the company switched payrolls. So
I remember
what
that.
I mean by that is basically it was the same company, but they switched to a different payroll company, and then they switched back, and then they switched, I think, one more time after that. So it made the paperwork a little bit more intensive, I guess you can say. It wasn't as clean as somebody who had the same job for the last 2 years. But we were able to work with something like that. It wasn't a big deal, just quick little explanation from somebody at his company that it's the same company. And we were able to get him pre-approved pretty quickly. He had good credit. He had a good amount of money to put down and what was needed to buy the house. And then you started shopping, right?
Yeah.
How long did that take?
It didn't take long, but
It was quick.
but that doesn't always happen.
Yeah.
I wish it did, but it didn't always happen like that. So I want to say maybe we saw 3 homes, and we got an accepted offer in the 3rd one. But
didn't we get an offer accepted on the first one too?
Yeah, we did.
Right? And then
we did. But then
they
he
pulled
ended
out?
up. Yeah, because it was a little too far.
Yeah.
A little too far. But yeah, that would have been amazing for him.
Yeah. I think you gave him a suggestion, right, with the first property? I don't know if you're allowed to say it or not.
I gave him a suggestion in. I always gave him a lot, so I'm not sure which specific one you're talking about.
We know what we're talking about. We'll leave that one alone. We could always cut that one out. So we'll leave that. But yeah, why do you think that this client was so quick to find a house compared to other clients? Because you're telling me 3 houses, which is that's
fast.
unheard of, right? What do you think you did? How was that conversation that helped you guys find a property that he wanted a lot quicker?
So I think, going through with other clients versus what I went with him was that he was very coachable. He understood that I was the one that was going to guide him, not the other way around. And I think that that's what helped us. And now with the agent as well, with the listing agent, I put myself apart from other agents. I'm very professional, and she even told me that there was another deal that they wanted to take, but because of the way I came up and I was so professional and the way I presented everything, they decided to go with us anyway. So that's another reason why we won the deal. And he was also quick. You don't have time to always be okay, I need to think about it. Sometimes you do, but rarely. But when you don't have the time to think about it, you kind of have to make fast decisions. And I let people know that way before we even look at homes. I coach them through the process before they even know anything. So it's definitely helped everybody that I worked with.
Yeah, you're prepping them prior to buying the house, right?
Yeah, because if you don't do that, then they don't really know what they're doing. So let's just say we see a home and we make an offer and then they accept it, and then they're but we need to get this ready, or we need to I don't know, we don't have an attorney right now, we need to think about it. Those kind of things are gonna make you lose the deal because there's someone else that likes the home just like you did, and is willing to move a lot faster.
Yeah. The best thing you can do is control what you can control.
Exactly.
Prior to starting the home shopping process. Exactly. That way they know as much as possible. And that's something that I did with him too, right? Well, not just him and his wife, right? They both wanted to know what was their monthly payment going to look like, what were the closing costs going to look like, are there any expenses that they wanted to know. Despite the fact that he was quick to make decisions, he also wanted to well educate himself, right? Which means that I also had to make sure that I was answering him as quick as possible, getting back to him quick, and making sure that I also controlled what I can control.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things that I did with this client was, once I had him fully approved, I said, hey, this is what you can purchase as far as maximum purchase price. This is what the maximum of your taxes are going to look like. So that way he knew what he was going to be spending going into there.
And he liked that.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that also helped us because there was no like guessing like where he was gonna be. He already knew exactly like, okay, this is what I'm gonna pay. Well, at least like pretty much right here I'm gonna pay. Okay, I'm comfortable with this, and that's what helped him also like move through the process.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because sometimes you get clients who are, and I'm pretty sure he was pre-approved for more than what he ended up buying for, right? But that's the interesting part of it, right? If you don't go over that with the client, you may approve them. A loan officer may approve them for $700,000, $800,000, and they're like, oh wow, I can go buy a $700,000 or $800,000 house. And when they realize their payment is a lot more than what they thought it was going to be, having that conversation would have saved us so much more time. Because imagine he would have looked for homes that were more expensive just because he got approved for that amount. And then when it was time to buy the house, he's like, whoa, this is too expensive. I don't want to move forward with this.
Exactly.
What do you think could have happened?
You lose the deal.
Yeah, you lose the deal. You maybe
lose the client.
Lose the client. Yeah, yeah. Or you just lose time. Exactly. Okay, now I know I don't want to buy at $700,000. Let's start looking at $600,000. Meanwhile, you just wasted a week, 2 weeks looking at $700,000 or $800,000 houses. So, yeah, I was able to go over what his payment would look like, how much his closing costs and down payment would be, and how much other expenses he'd have to pay for.
Yeah.
So he was as well educated as he possibly could have been.
That's important.
Yeah.
That's definitely important.
Yeah. One cool thing that he did too that I wanted to mention was he paid for the mortgage insurance up front. So what happens is when you put down less than 20% of a down payment, then you're always going to have mortgage insurance, which is a monthly payment that you're going to have to make up until you get a certain amount of equity in the home, right? So up until basically you pay a certain amount off of the loan compared to what the house is worth. What he did was, because he almost put down 20%, it was a little bit less than that, he ended up paying for what would have been that monthly payment of mortgage insurance as one lump sum so that he didn't have to pay for it for the rest of the loan. So it ended up saving him, maybe a couple of $100 or, somewhere in the high double digits per month in his payment by paying that upfront. And that's something that somebody can do to save some money.
So for the people who, let's just say they bought already and they already have a house, how can they take advantage of something like that? Like maybe get in touch with you. What would you tell them right now?
If they want to get rid of mortgage insurance?
Yeah.
So something like that, whether it's an FHA loan, a conventional loan, one of the things that they can do is we can talk, we can see how much they owe on their home.
Okay.
We can see what their home might be worth now. And for some of them, it could be as simple as calling the bank and saying, hey, my property is now worth, let's say, X amount of dollars, and I only owe X amount of dollars. When you compare those two numbers, if your loan is 80% or less than the value of the home, then they can get rid of the mortgage insurance.
Okay.
So that's one way. Another way is if they, let's say, also want to take out money, or there's a chance to save money on their monthly payment by getting a lower rate, we can do what's called a refinance. So a refinance means you get yourself into a new loan. So let's just say you owed $400,000. Maybe you get into a loan that's worth $450,000 or $500,000. And as long as that new loan is worth less than 80% of what the home is currently worth, then you'll get rid of the mortgage insurance.
Nice.
And if you have a lot of equity, it may even mean that you get some money back.
Nice.
So there's good opportunities to get rid of the mortgage insurance.
There's always like something to do. All you need to do is educate yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I said it quickly, but I say it quickly because I understand it and because I've been doing this for almost 4.5, almost 5 years. To somebody who doesn't know, it may be like, whoa, I'm trying to catch up. I'm trying to figure out how these numbers work. Just talk to me. I would say just give me a call. Again, I'm not going to force you to refinance. I'm not going to say you have to do that. If it's as simple as calling the bank, you call the bank and you save yourself money and time. Right? So we always want to do that with the client's best interest.
So if somebody was to ask like, hey, but like, I mean, I want to buy for investment. I want to buy for my home. Like, do you do everything?
Yeah, absolutely. So I can I can help somebody who just wants to buy a single family home that they want to live in, right? From there, there's layers to it. Let's say they want to buy a house that gives them a little bit of rental income.
Like our other client.
Correct, which we'll go into right after this, right? You can buy a house with an accessory dwelling unit. That's a program that we offer here at Nationwide, where we can use the income from the apartment, right, from the accessory unit, in order to help them qualify.
So just so like it's clear for everybody, what that means is like you're basically in a single family. You have like one kitchen, that's where you probably live, and then you have like a separate entrance for a different apartment within the house where they can rent it out.
Exactly. So it's not technically a two-family home, but that house has somewhere that, technically speaking, another family can live, you know, or a single person, a couple, whatever it is.
So
and
those
we
are
can use that
examples
income to help them qualify.
So those are examples like of like high ranches.
Yeah, high ranches are a great example. Mother-daughter homes are a great example. Just homes with maybe a garage, and that garage is an apartment. We can use that as an example. But there's always going to be three things that it needs. A separate entrance. It needs a full kitchen, which is an actual working stove, a sink that works, right, and cabinets. And the last thing that they're going to need is a full bathroom, right? Full bathroom means it has a shower and it has a toilet and a sink.
Okay.
So that's a good transition, right? What was our next deal?
So our next deal was just something just like that. I mean, where I had a friend of mine that...
you got mad friends.
Yeah. Yeah, actually I do, man.
That's good.
After I became a real estate agent, like I just started like touching everybody. But yeah, no, he was looking for a home, but he didn't want to pay the entire mortgage. He wanted some help. And I gave him the example that I did. I did the same thing. 2020, I bought my first home. It was a high ranch. And I rented out the first floor while I lived in the second floor, and it helped me out a lot. I paid like, I want to say, man, like $1,800 for my mortgage. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I mean, I paid less than what people were paying rent right now. You know? So
for a much smaller property, for a much larger property.
Yeah.
You know, they'd be paying more for a much smaller property.
And I come from Queens, so like no issues with parking.
Yeah.
Had the pool in the back.
What a relief.
Yeah.
You probably felt like you had hours ahead of you not having to look for parking every morning and night.
Bro, I'm telling you right now, when like I moved to Long Island, it was just like no parking tickets. Like I had nothing like that. When I went back to Queens, sometimes just to visit, and I got a parking ticket, I forgot what that felt like.
You remembered why you moved in the first place, right?
Like, oh man, I was just here. I was going for 5 minutes.
I think those police, the parking enforcement, they're just like hiding in the bush.
Yeah.
They're
waiting.
Yeah, they're lurking.
They're just waiting for people to slip up. Oh, he's from Long Island.
All respect to them, though. If you need a loan, I got you.
But yeah, look, I told him my story, and he wanted to do the same thing. So we started looking at homes like similar to what I had, high ranches, and he did exactly that. I mean, the interest rate was a little different from when I bought, but he got a pretty good deal.
Yeah.
Right? Now he's renting out the first floor. He's living in the second floor with his family, his kid. They also have like kind of the same setup: pool in the back, nice backyard, driveway. Like don't need to worry about. Really nice neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, so
they got themselves.
They're in love. They're in love with the home now.
Good.
Because it's like we don't get that. You know, in Queens, not like that at least.
Absolutely. And that that's the beauty of it, right? Like if you're paying rent already, and your rent is, I don't know, $3,000, $3,500, whatever it is, and your mortgage payment comes out to, let's say, $6,000, right? $7,000, which sometimes could be possible, right? We're not gonna be one of those people that are like, oh, your housing payment in Long Island's $3,000, when in reality we know that it can definitely get expensive.
Yeah.
But if you're making some rental income off of it, you might be paying somewhere around what you're currently paying in rent for you to get a bigger property, for you to get something that's your own, and now you get to see what it's like to be a landlord.
And crazy that you say that, because the first home, I just finished selling it. And this is for the people who like, we don't really know if we're gonna sell like within 5, 10, 15, 20 years. You don't know, but some people like they want to buy their forever home, and I understand. And they focus so much on that they end up getting like analysis paralysis, and they don't buy at all.
Yeah.
And then like later through the years, they're like, I should have bought, because now my regret is that I didn't buy more properties at that time, because I was like, I wasn't really like well educated. I wasn't even an agent at that time. You know, so I bought it for 465 and I sold it for 710. Right, nice. So I made some like good equity there. I made some good money after I sold it. So it doesn't necessarily mean that like, you know, you're gonna lose money, or like, you know, you're throwing money away. Like, it's better to do that versus like, if you know you're gonna just like kind of like stay in an apartment for like a long time. I think it makes sense to buy something. But if you know that you're gonna move around, you're not gonna live there, like, all right, maybe renting does make sense for you. So it kind of just depends on your situation.
But
absolutely. If you're looking that you know you're going to move, you're going to stay in New York, and you have the chance to buy, you might as well look at your options.
100%.
Because you can probably do what I did.
Now
I'm going to take the money. Now I'm going to take that money and I'm going to put it into something else. My goals are a little bit different. I kind of just want to be, you know, buying rentals, having it pay off like some of the lifestyle that I have. But that might not be your goal. It might be that you want to just like, you know, stay put for a long time. But even then, like, you want some kind of help like that. The high ranches is beautiful. It's hot. Those homes are hot. Everybody wants them.
Everybody.
Right? So you can rent it out, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom downstairs, and then like, you know, you can make like 2,500, 3,000 possibly. And then like, while your mortgage is like 5, now you're paying 2,000. And
picture this, right? Like, both of the scenarios that we just spoke about were people with families, right? But sometimes we forget that there's like maybe a single person who can buy a house by themselves, or just a couple who doesn't have a family that can buy a house themselves. Who's to say that you can't buy one of those houses with the apartments and stay in the apartment and rent the upstairs?
That too,
right?
Make the majority of the money, and
100%.
Then like just kind of like hang out in the studio or the 1 bedroom that you had.
You may be happy with that. You may say, hey, I don't need.
It might be enough. Just one person.
I may not need a huge home, you know. So why am I going to buy a big home, even though I know I can afford it, right? It doesn't make sense to them, but they may not have money to put down 20% to buy as an investment property. So why not just house hack, right? Why not just live in the basement, or however the house is set up, live in that accessory dwelling unit that we mentioned, and just, you know, just rent out the upstairs until you're ready. Maybe you find the partner soon. Maybe you decide you want to even move out and buy your next property. You know, there's a lot of different options, but I think with both of these deals, we had people who were like, you know, they may want to buy, may not want to buy, but they know they want to like start that process going, and we got them ready to buy.
And from what I understand from both of them, because they're both good friends of mine, they're not going to move right away, but they know that sometime in the future, they kind of want something bigger. So now they can sell that, make some money, and put it into the new one.
Or they can keep it, right? Continue to pay down the mortgage. And then eventually, if they need more money, they can take out money from the house through a refinance like we spoke about.
And you can do that.
Or you could do a home equity line of credit, right? And now you rent out that house. Maybe you have some rental income there, and then you get into your next house too.
Yeah, I think that's a smart way to do it. I know maybe like a lot of people don't like to be landlords because it's tough. It's either really good or it can get really bad. That's why like you should get in touch with like a professional like me, or you know, like the agent that you trust, to get someone good in there. But I think it's the smartest move, especially in today's world, because everything's so expensive. And you know, it's a flex to say like, okay, I have a house, but I think it's a bigger flex when you say like, okay, I have a house, but it's pretty much paying, a big chunk of it's being paid by itself. You know, you have an asset at that point.
It makes your life a lot easier too.
Yeah, you can enjoy more things while being a homeowner still.
100%. Okay, cool. Now that deal, maybe we can go into some of the pieces that we couldn't control, right? Without saying too much, obviously, right? But we had a couple of delays when it came to closing the deal, right? Is that normal to have delays when it comes to buying a house?
Doesn't always happen, but it happens.
It happens, right?
Yeah.
It almost is kind of normal. Is kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Like there's always something that's going to come up when someone's buying a house, right?
Yeah.
But how do you think we dealt with that to keep the client at bay, right? That doesn't mean they were 100% happy with closing a little bit later than they had to, but what do you think we did well in order to still keep them motivated and to get them to close?
I think the number one thing that like it beats everything is communication.
Yeah.
Right? Communicate with them, letting them know exactly what's going on, letting them know that like, hey, sometimes these things happen, it's out of our control, and you know, we just gotta, you know, stick to it.
Yeah.
You know, and stick it until we're done. And like I'm here for them, or you're there for them.
Yeah.
For whatever like questions they like come across, or like anything that comes across, I'm there with the attorney. Like we're going back and forth, what's going on, this and that. So I think that's what really helps them.
I agree.
Stay the course.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's where our ability to connect with people and like our ability to like talk is becomes so important, right? Because if you're not keeping in touch with the client, then nothing may be happening, but it's easy as somebody who's buying a house to start to kind of spiral, right? You're like, is something wrong? Why haven't they reached out to me? And then that could stress you out. And then you're trying to work, you're trying to buy a house at the same time, and that can easily make your buying experience very sour. But when you have people like us who, hey, nothing's going on right now, but I just want to let you know we're here. If you need if you have any questions, anything like that, I think that's what really helped us when we encountered delays, because he knew that we were still there working for him, even though maybe nothing was going on.
Yeah,
we prevented him from possibly overthinking or, you know,
100%.
losing motivation, whatever it was. So that becomes a big piece of it, and as to why we work well together, right?
100%.
If it wasn't you getting in touch with him, it's me, and if not us, then it's our attorney who we also work with, right? We always had somebody who was getting in touch with the client.
And those are the deals that I learned now, that like now when I meet someone, I prep them for that too. Like look, this is in a perfect world, this is how it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen, and don't worry, I got you. I'm gonna take care of it for you. You just gotta listen to me. You gotta, you know, follow my lead, and I got you. So I try to have them like feel like no matter what happens, like I'm on their side.
100%. Okay. So then let's get into the last deal. Okay. I'm not sure how much of that you want to go into, but
yeah, we can go into it.
Now this time you were the seller's agent, right?
Yes.
Paint the picture of like what happened when you actually accepted the offer. You know, how did that piece of it work?
Okay, so what it looked like was buyer came in an open house and wasn't as qualified as I thought they were, right? And you know, where they came from was a different bank. It looks like they didn't really do their due diligence. Maybe they didn't collect any paperwork. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that are just going to say like, oh yeah, you're pre-approved for like 600 or 700. And then they didn't collect any documents. They're just kind of going off by their word. Yeah. And I learned that. It's like face to face in that deal.
You saw it firsthand.
Yeah.
That it happened.
Like, I've heard of it. Obviously, I've heard of it because I'm in the industry, but like, that's when I first came, like, I confronted it and realized, okay, now I completely understand why it's so important for someone to, like, really be qualified, like, really pre-approved with a bank.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Those things can happen where we got to go, like, back and forth, fix this, fix that, and then it took a little time. It took a little more.
A lot of bit of time.
Yeah, you know, and then it's just kind of like, we had to, like, kind of see how to fix it, not like there was just like an immediate fix. Yeah,
absolutely. I think from the perspective of me, who was the loan officer in this transaction, there's always some sort of solution, right? And I think that's the biggest thing that I would tell potential buyers is be mindful of whether it's an actual pre-approval or not, right? Did the loan officer look at all your documents? Did the loan officer check your credit? Did the loan officer make sure that you have the money to buy the house? Now, one thing that's super important too, did the loan officer check your citizenship status, right? Because that can play a piece of it too. So all of those little things are going to come into play. Did the loan officer go over what your payment's going to look like, what the closing costs are going to look like? All those things, if they're not doing that for you, then they're doing you a disservice.
Yeah, and look, like I said, I'm not here to talk bad about anybody. Obviously, I was the listing agent there. The buyer's agent disappeared, bro. Their buyer's agent was not in the deal. And me, just to be like playing nice in the sandbox, you know, like I let it slide because they already signed paperwork. But if your buyer's agent is, like, if you see that they're not doing the proper job and you kind of tell and like you feel frustrated in the deal, there's something going on.
Yeah.
Because like we said before, even if, you know, things don't go like straight line, where they're communicating. Where for them, you know, I think I can speak for them, there was no communication. They didn't know what was going on. They didn't know why it was taking so long. They thought that like, okay, it's just like this and that's that, and that's it. And then like, since I was the listing agent, I couldn't really get involved so much with the buyers.
Yeah.
You know, so very important that you hire the right buyer's agent if you're looking for a home.
Absolutely. So a couple months passed, we got them approved and fully approved. We got the clear to close, and then thankfully we were able to close that deal. But I definitely think that was one of them that also, you know, took a little bit of patience, took a little bit of putting different pieces together. And that's just all part of the job sometimes, and that's just going to happen sometimes when it comes to doing getting a loan from start to finish.
Yeah, for
right?
sure,
Do you see that every closing always takes 30 days?
No,
right?
especially in New York now.
That's just being real, right? Like it happens, you know, and it's sometimes there's things that you cannot control that we have to just maneuver and work with.
Even my good deals, they have not closed that fast. Right? I've had a few like deals that just like really just like everything was so simple.
Yeah, absolutely. And you get easy deals sometimes too, right? Yeah. There's not to scare everybody saying that, oh, you know, every time that you go to buy a house, it's going to take you 60 days, you know, 6 months or whatever it is. It's just things do naturally come up, things that are out of your control, but that's where working with the right people who let you know, hey, this is happening. You may not close at the end of the month. You may have to close at the beginning of the month or the next month, right? It's making sure that that communication is there is super, super key when it comes to closing.
All that
deals.
is done in the beginning, man. All of it. I let them know the good and the bad, what can happen, what's gonna happen, who I work with. You know, they have the decision to work with whoever they want, but I always, you know, prefer you guys to do it. Because it's just much smoother, and you know, obviously the clients that we had already, they can attest to that. They can they can say, yeah, Chris is really good in that. I even become like some kind of like mindset coach. I'm like, come on, like, look, don't be scared. This
all
is what I did.
All the things that you hear is what you pass on to them.
This is what I did. This is like, I know what you're feeling right now. I know it's scary, but I did it. I had a client like that before, and she was so scared to buy. And now she bought in Queens, and she loves it. She's renting as well.
Nice.
And she always says to today, like, hey, Joey, like, thank you for pushing me. Thank you for pushing me. Because I wasn't going to do it without you. I'm like, hey, look, that's what I'm here for. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, it's a rewarding feeling, right?
Yeah.
When you get somebody who was like...
And now we're friends.
I love that first. I think, like, one thing that gets me so excited is, like, that first conversation. When they're like, oh, I want to buy. And it's just like, it's like a little dream, right? Like, it's like a little glimmer of hope. And then once you get them pre-approved, like that hope kind of grows a little bit. And then once they're under contract, that hope grows even more. And then when they're under contract, sometimes it goes down and it goes back up, and it becomes sometimes like a roller coaster of emotions. But when you just look at what the end goal is, sometimes you're gonna get there. You're gonna get there. And the process is sometimes good, sometimes not great, but we have helped so many families buy houses, investors buy investment properties, that where I would speak with the both of us, I would speak for the both of us in saying that we know what that emotional roller coaster is like, and you should be working with somebody who will help you get through that roller coaster.
For sure, man.
Because
Very
it's
important,
not
very
like driving a car where it's a smooth ride. Sometimes
exactly.
there's a little bit of bumps in the road.
I have a question because I get a lot of this, right? A lot of people say like, "Oh, I want to see the house first before we get pre-approved." Have you ever like gotten something like that where?
Yeah, absolutely. I get clients all the time who are like, "Oh, I wanna make sure I find my dream house first, and then I want to see what I can qualify for." And it's usually those people who don't qualify for the house that they go and look at.
You know what I give them? I tell them like, look, like, you're probably used to something like that because it's not like buying a car. You know, when you go to a car dealership and you look around, you're browsing around, and then like, oh, okay, like I'll get pre-approved now.
Yeah.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
Because like you're gonna end up wasting your time. Let's just say you can go to an open house freely, no problem. But you start looking at houses, and then you're gonna be disappointed if like, hey, you actually really really liked it, just happened to be you really liked it, and then it turns out that you can't afford it.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, because it's not just income. That's right. It's not just income that's based off your pre-approval. It's a lot of things, right?
Credit, how much money you have saved, you know, your living situation, things like that all will definitely come into play.
Even if they have bad credit, right?
Yeah, even with bad credit, you could still buy a house, right? But it's not like you said, it's not like a house. You're not going to see the car. You're not going to see the house today and walk off with the keys, right? There's a lot more of a process that goes into play. There's a lot of things on the back end that people don't realize that we just have to try and make as simple as possible. Because my job is not for you to do my job, right? As if you're the buyer, I'm not trying to teach you how to do my job, but I'm trying to teach you what you should know when you're buying a house, so that when you go to buy that next house, you know what to look out for.
Exactly. And then like, that's very important that they know that process.
Yeah, 100%, man. So it's been a pleasure working with you, man.
Yeah,
and
same.
So this year we did 2. Last year we did 1.
We're gonna triple that, bro.
We have to triple that.
Yeah,
we have to. All right, bet. Yo, thank you, man. Oh wait, let's do that dap again. Ready? There it is. That's a better one. That's a better one.
I like this. Look.
Which one?
Like
Okay, all right. I'll tell you. It's too much.
I'll show you later.
Yeah. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you, guys.